Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming. Attendance. I am Mike Bonds, present.
Jeff Doherty,
Joe Latender.
Diana Klein.
Greg Simpson has a pastoral retreat, so he won't be here. Okay, so the first thing we have on the agenda is public comment. Does Linda have a list?
I think it's the same as this.
Katie Greaves and Kim Fasal.
Katie Greaves?
Isn't that for the hearing?
No.
Okay.
Use the microphone.
Kate, just wait 1 second, please.
Okay.
So I recently put in a FOIL request for the town of Hurley to get a copy of the minutes for the Historic Preservation Commission meeting where they turned down my certificate of appropriateness. I wanted to do this because there are some flaws that they need to take into consideration, like the State Environmental Quality Review Act. I wanted to see what they said about that in relation to my application. But there are no minutes for those meetings. The best that the town could give me was just emails from the Historic Preservation Commission telling the town that they had decided. I do think this is in violation of the New York Open Meetings Law. I believe that the Historic Preservation Commission should be publishing their minutes and putting them on the website per the law. Because when there is a problem or a disagreement, the town might need to go back and see how their decision was made. So I would request that they start keeping minutes and publishing on the website if possible. Thank you very much.
If they can get them to me, I'll gladly post them. You can. Great.
Next. Kim Fasara? Hi. And where do you live, Kim?
And then Moreland and West Hurley.
You can bend the mic down a little bit.
What's the last name, Kate?
Sound. F-U-S-A-R-O.
What street, ma'am? Laurel. Thank you.
So I just had a question. I just finished doing a lot line adjustment and I paid my escrow bill and all of that. I had sticker shock, but I realized that is not, 5 cents a loaf anymore. But my question is, if you're forgiving these escrow bills, who is going to be paying professionals that put in all these bills? Because mine was all itemized from the last planner and the lawyer. And so I want to know where the money is going to come to pay for those people. Is it going to come from our taxes? Because I pay my escrow bill and I expect that to pay their escrow bill after they sign the escrow bill that says you will pay the bill.
So I know this is public comment, but there's a couple, it's more than just a simple, they're forgiving. There's a statute, there's required law. So if you want to stay for some of these escrow hearings, you can learn a little bit more about the process. And they don't forgive escrow bills. The law requires certain things. One, that the bill be reasonable and necessary for the evaluation of the application. And two, also that the whatever body it is provides a monthly, basically invoice summary to the applicant so that, 10 months, 12 months don't go by and then suddenly the applicant is hit with some sort of bill for a exorbitant amount after not being aware that these bills were being done against their application.
Okay.
All right, but if you want to stay, you could learn.
That's what you said. Okay.
Anybody else, Lynn? Anybody else wish to speak, public comment? Or forever hold your peace? Okay, I make what did I make?
Motion.
I make a motion, to close public comment number 1. Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. All right, we have the minutes from January, both January 7th and also January 28th. I have the board read the minutes. Okay, is there any comments on the minutes?
Yeah, we're up to date.
December.
Someone's here also?
Yeah, you haven't, if you care. you
Okay, all
haven't
right, so
approved
it's December, have you guys read December?
Yeah, they're all posted.
Okay. Okay, we can come back and do December, the month then, so forth.
Comments.
All right, now, are there any corrections, comments about it?
I did have a question on January.
January 20th.
Yeah, you go on. So I, just a couple.
What did you find?
Typos.
Yeah.
The public hearing for Alex Perfect at 80 degrees. Second sentence.
Could you give me a page number?
Page 2.
This January 7th or 12th? Okay. Is this January 7th or January 28th?
3,
Which one, what month?
Is this January 7th or 28th?
February 28.
Oh, it's the second January meeting.
Oh. Sorry,
I didn't know we were going to do the other.
I was doing the 7th. I didn't have those minutes with me.
Okay, I can give them to you later.
What about the 7th? Could we do the,
I just have a question on the, report from the supervisor. You've got here Supervisor Bombs continue to explain with a mathematical error, which is being addressed by the budget reconciliation resolution. I don't think there's a mathematical error.
No.
So there was a huge error, made by,
what page is that?
it would be under the report for supervisor. This is on the very first page right there. Actually, the beginning, the top of the second page.
You know, Jerry, can you pull it up?
The 28th minutes?
This is the, this is
No.
the
This is
seventh.
the
The
seventh.
7th? Sure.
So just want to say an error?
Well, it's not an error, it's a,
It's an error.
So the 7th.
The 7th, Diane?
yes.
Okay. Second page?
Yeah.
There you
No,
go.
that was a mathematical error. It was a difference between $10,000 in the way it was added up.
Okay, then we should be more specific on that. 'cause
Well, that's what he explained that, and that was the resolution that followed.
This is the,
That's a $10,000 lower than it should have added up to be.
Okay,
that was some sort of mathematical.
yes, that one was.
Any other?
Not-
You want to go? Okay.
All right, so I have,
Let's make a resolution, the 7th.
Well, let me just ask another question. On every motion, did the last line be the motion was, made, when it was passed or not, and by how many? Because sometimes it was omitted, sometimes it wasn't. So
if there was a motion, then it should,
After every motion, is it supposed to list on here whether it was passed and how many yes and no's?
says 4 ayes, 1 absent. There is
I'm just saying throughout the whole thing, at occasions.
there's only 6 motions, 7 motions. The resolution to the organizational minutes was all one big motion.
Okay.
But prior to that, resolution number 6 to enter an executive meeting should be followed 3 lines down by resolution 007 to end the executive session.
Okay.
Did you have anything else?
I am.
No.
Okay. You want to bring it to 28th?
Sure.
I'm gonna run. I
Well, you
haven't even read them yet.
Read them, you gave them to me.
I know.
I swear to God.
Let's do that. Let's do this thing. I make a motion to accept the January 7th meeting minutes. Second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. So Jeremy, will you remove the draft?
Yeah, well, yes, I'll have to do it tomorrow morning, but sure. Nope.
28 or 27, 27 or 28? 28.
You need the 28th?
Okay.
Ken? There's the 28th. That's the current one.
Is there a way of making it, focus up, zoom in better?
I mean, I can blow it up a little like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to overdo it or it's going to blow it off the screen. No.
Page two.
Okay.
Bottom left paragraph.
Okay. Yep. Right there.
She paid the $200 application, second sentence.
Yeah. It says she was a $200 application fee. She paid.
Page three. School landfill. Second sentence, it's now repeated twice. And then
I'm sorry, where is that?
In the closed landfill, the phrase is now is repeated.
then page
9.
bottom public comment two.
Page 9. Yes.
Betsy Blair. So while yes, this planning board was about the material and color and brand, I believe that Betsy's focus on that problem was that he was treated poorly by the planning board. And that's not captured there.
Considered that to be overstepping their bounds.
It wasn't that, he was treated very poorly at that meeting.
Consider that to be treated poorly. Does everybody agree with that?
So send the updated versions. I'll just post those.
Then was another comment, public comment number 2, Walt Winterfield.
I didn't capture that.
Sorry, but Sorry.
What's his name?
Well, her name was Ty, but it's Walt Trout or something, but they call it Guy.
Okay.
Right, it's
All
on
right.
the-
He was on DeWitt Mill Road.
Oh, right, what was the name?
Travel Winterfield. He was, yep, he was checking up with people speeding. and-
Yes, yes, yes.
Winterfield, right?
Winterfield.
Winterfeld.
Winterfeld.
Did he
FELD.
speak second for, he just came up, right? When did he talk?
We could check the video if we had to.
I did. I don't remember seeing-
He was like the last person,
Yeah.
public comment.
I think
After
that's right.
Wendy? He just came up after Wendy?
Yeah, I think that.
Wendy was the last one.
I thought Wendy was
I
last.
remember when.
All right, so we'll check it.
We'll check the video.
So, about sidewalks, I'm
No, that's
walking
on,
under it,
Steve.
speeding.
Right, 'cause I know where DeWitt Mills Road is,
Mhm.
there's 3 towns,
Right.
Yeah,
Dale, Ulster, and Hurley.
and Hurley.
Okay, so add comment.
What we're
Okay,
gonna do, Lynn, we're gonna do also is we have a couple of speed signs, electronic speed signs. But we're gonna press Mike Short's to put one on that road and DeWitt Mills out. I mean, the
As part of
problem,
our spring summer plan.
yeah, the problem is not the fact that, people are speeding in a sense, it's the fact that there's no
there's no shoulder.
shoulder for one thing, and
No
also.
It's like Sandhook. Yeah.
There's no enforcement.
Right.
And every time we call up, the sheriff's office, it gives us the same response. I'm not sure staff.
Here we go to one of the speed signs, yeah.
That's what we like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that, is gonna be mentioned by, the state committee.
Okay. Okay. So do you want to accept them with amendments?
Well, then this one's on resolution 15 and 17, you don't have that last line which says how it was voted by how many yeses or noes,
All voted aye. Everybody was present.
but it doesn't say that on 15 and 17.
She's right. 17, it doesn't have the vote. And 15, yeah, it just lacks the all voted aye.
16 and 6.
15 and 17.
15 and 17. Okay.
So when
It is-
Lynn gives me a new version, I'll overwrite them. I'll take off the draft and we're good to go.
Okay. All right, so any other?
Any other corrections?
Okay. I make a motion to accept with the amendments, amended portion.
Amendments.
All right, accept the, January 28th, minute second. All right, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have to just then do the December minutes.
Yes,
Is it December 31st?
all of the month of December.
All right, December 30th.
They were never,
Either one?
neither, yes,
Okay.
neither one was approved by
What
the
about
board.
November?
As far as I know, November was approved.
Okay, all right, so, we'll look at December and, Okay. Okay, all right, so we approve of both the January minutes.
Yes,
Okay, all right. Anything to up?
okay.
I have your preliminary report here, Lynn.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
I got it too.
And it says preliminary on
back
those.
into the office to get it.
Oh, I'll post anything.
So during the month of January, the regular revenues in the office were $58,582.92, plus a couple of fees that we sent to the state. So $61. So that the building department permits were 6,300. Transfer station revenue was over 50,000. And the 58,580.92 was paid over to the supervisor's office today.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Yes, this is a different one.
You're looking at a different one.
This is January 1st through 28th.
She's got 3 more days on.
Oh, so you'll give me, all right, you give me that. We'll post it tomorrow. Okay, that's fine. This
Okay.
was the preliminary.
That was our discussion last week.
No problem. I'll just make a note. I'll need those
All
for
right.
you.
Make a motion to accept the town clerk's report. Do I have a second? Second. We have discussion? All in favor? Okay. Supervisor's report. Before I go here a little bit, we have to do a correction on the reconciliation. You're looking at me like
Which reconciliation?
no. This is the reconciliation we did on January 7th. And what it is, we had about maybe 4 pages of reconciliation, moving money from one account to the other.
Right.
One of the things that we found out, and I guess, it's my dad, is that you can't move money from the highway department, the DA line, into the A line. You can move DA from DA into DA or A to A, but you can't go across. The reason being very simple is 2 different tax bases.
Okay.
So we have to go back, and there's like maybe 13 of them that we moved from DA into A, and we have to just switch them. And what we have right now is that all that money that was moved over is going to be covered by $231,000 of interest that we collected from the banks. In fact, our total interest in the bank is like close to $400,000 off. The $231,000 which is left over is not going to cover all those transfers, and we'll have them do that. So we're going to have a resolution to reverse those changes, and then have a resolution to add to those changes with the correct amount. Okay. All right. The second thing I have here, we'll bring that up.
What am I bringing up?
The AFR.
The AFR from 23? Yep, we're here.
Oh, no, not that one. We'll keep that anyway. Just put that in background.
It is.
Review, AFR review.
This thing? Yep. You got it.
Okay, we got the AFR, and the Office of the Controller's Office has approved it. They looked over it, they sanctioned it, and they said it looks fine and everything dandy and so forth. And they said, okay, now that you got this, start doing the 2024 AFR. So we're working on the 2024 AFR that is due March 31st. I went through, myself, John Perry, a few other people, Diana Klein, we went through and looked at the AFR, looked at the big picture. What we're going to be doing soon is look at the smaller picture, the door lines that we see what's going through. And what we found was the following things. So the first thing you see up there, that's the submitted 2023 budget on 11/15/2022. That was submitted to the county and submitted to the state. And the appropriation was $2,091,000. I'll read off this. These are $2,091,461. The projected revenues in the same year was $1,791,461,000. And so that left the expenditures more. And so what it was that at that point, the supervisor then took $300,000 of surplus money from 2022 and added into there to balance out the budget. All right, so that was the projected. Here comes the actual one. First of all, the actual surplus in 2022 was actually $88,930.72. Not the $300,000 that was listed up there. So right there, we're actually at $211,000 down on that projection right there. Also, on the AFR, what we found basically was on page 15, the expenditures was $2,331,161.32. What happened was that, well, in the AFR, what was missing there also is $68,000 that wasn't accounted for. We have put in a request to the, Office Controller as well as our RBT to do an addendum and add that in. Therefore, the entire expenditures in 2023 was was almost 2.4 million. Okay. The revenue that generated was only $2,179,079.48. That put a deficit of $220,081.87. That's a deficit. According to state law, you cannot have a deficit. It will
I
not.
mean, it just does.
Well, you have to do something with it.
Yeah.
All right. And the way you overcome that deficit, you go into your savings account and withdraw the money then and put it there. That's not what you want to do. All right. In that aspect of it. All right. And so basically, as if we look now, the thing is, though, if you look at the submitted budget and the actual budget, there's difference there because there's always surprises that come up in the budget no matter what. There's always things. And the one that surprises we had in 2023 was the landfill. We spent an exorbitant amount of money in the landfill coming through there. And so basically, what we see also what happened in the budget here too, that a lot of money was taken out of capital H fund to pay for operation costs. That too is a no-no. You can't do that. The capital H funds is meant for one purpose only, and that's special projects. And once you go into the capital H fund and you take money out of that, you do not have to record it as spending. And the reason being is because when you put it in, it was recorded as spending. All right. Usually what happens with the capital H fund, all the surplus money that's left over usually goes into the capital H fund in that sense. So that's been reported. So you don't have to really go through that. So what we did, John Perry specifically, he actually went in there and looked at all the expenditures off the capital H fund that shouldn't be there and returned it back into the A budget line there, which then ballooned that A budget way above it should be coming through. It was something like about maybe $270,000 of money taken out of the capital H fund that should not have been taken out. That should have been kept in the A line more or less. And so that was a problem going through there. We had to correct it. We got it corrected on the AFR, and so that's what you see here. Now the thing is though that having a deficit of $220,081.87, that's 9.2. That's 9.2% overspending. All right, and again, the law says you cannot do that. You can correct it by going into your reserve, into your unallocated fund to fix that difference. But the only problem is, therefore, you're losing money in your savings account. Right, and looking back into 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, our general fund count always increased, never decreased. It started decreasing in 2021, it decreased by 170,000, and then in 2022, it decreased by 720,000. You know, and well, not only that though, the surplus reported on 12/23 as a reconciliation was $296,000 from the 2023 budget. However, there was $300,000 in unpaid bills in 2023 that was paid in 2024. Now, this is going to really skew the 2024 budget. And the reason being very simply is, even though we took that $300,000 that was paid, that should have been paid in 2023, we put it back into that budget, but the money came out of 2024. So we're going to see right off the bat, we're down $300,000 right off the bat in that aspect of it. All right, and we have to actually like put an asterisk next to the AFR that comes out saying that $300,000 really should go back into the 2023, but since it came out of 2024, it has to be shown in the 2024 budget.
Excuse me.
Right. So what we're doing right now is we are going to go back now line by line by line to look at every budget line. One of the things that we saw that was overblown was a line for leachate collection. In years past, we spent like $50,000 at the most In 2023, we spent $198,000 on leachate posts. All right, there was actually 1 month, December of 2023, where the leachate puller actually charged the town $60,000 for leachate posts in the month of December. You ask me why? Which I knew. The thing is, again, so what we're doing right now is we are correcting the budget, and what we're doing basically, we're trying very, very hard to get the budget in line. The 2024 budget, the 2024 AFR is now being worked on, because when the 2024 AFR comes out, it will give us an accurate picture of what was spent and what was taken in, and that would be the, in a sense, our Bible to look at things there. So hopefully we will get this done by the deadline, March 31st, and sometime in April, we'll sit here again and go through the 2024 budget to see exactly any kind of discrepancies coming through. That's my supervisor report.
One of the bigger things too is a lot of these transactions, not one resolution. So for us, it was very hard to find the money because there was never a resolution done to say transfer from line point to line point, and it just wasn't done. So a lot of these transfers were done without
And not only that, though, we found a bunch of vouchers. Now, the law says you have to have 3 signatures on a voucher in order to pay the bill. We found a bunch of vouchers that had no signatures, 1 signature or 2 signatures, but they were paid. You know, what also is this thing, if you take money out of a capital H fund and you spend it, that's okay. If it's meant for that project, you don't have to report it as expenditures. However, you do need a resolution if you're taking money from capital H fund to another capital H fund. Transferring that way, that requires a resolution. We've seen money being done that way without any resolution to be shown.
In 23
The
transfers
23
from
transfers.
capital H to a different capital.
All right, so, these are things that were picked up, John Perry picked them up, I picked them up, Wendy Trojan picked up amongst them, and so did, our RBT counting. And, we're waiting on the, Office of Control, State Control, to pick it up also, and they may ask us why. And, that's it, really, you gotta show that shoulder, we don't know why. And it's done this way.
So Mike, tell me what this is great and all these, but what's the total for 2023? Like, I don't really see,
What do you mean?
is it these two together?
No. The total for 2023, it's the page 15 expenditures. $2,399,161.32. That was the amount that was spent.
Okay.
That was all the checks that were sent out with that amount. We only collected revenue of $2,179,079.48. What should have been, the revenue should have outweighed the
Right,
expenditure.
so 220,000, but then.
On the bottom, okay, now the bottom one is that in 12/23, December 23, it was reported that there was $296,000 in surplus. Money that was allocated but not used. That's what that 296, that was reported and a resolution. However, in 2024, we started getting bills totaling 299,000.
So there was
Those-
no surplus, basically. Well, there could have been a surplus because they spent more than what we took in, so really.
Is it 220 plus 290?
It's yeah. in a
Well,
sense.
her budget was a.
It's like that.
was
So in
half
other
a
words,
million
Don't
dollars.
worry about that surplus that's there is just not.
Wasn't there, it was, yeah.
Right,
it
so
wasn't there.
the surplus was this, but then we got those in
Right.
bills, so there really wasn't.
There was no surplus.
No, so right, in reality, her budget was $500,000 off. She thought she was almost $300,000 over, but she was $200,000 under.
That's
the number, that's the number.
Okay, but if you want to go a little further, don't forget.
I don't see, that's not put out in here.
Well,
I
you
don't
can
think
take,
to the
okay,
public.
all right, well, here's the thing.
Do you know what I mean?
I-
If she overspent by 500,000, that's not, I don't feel like that's clear on here.
Okay. What I'm saying is basically that number wise, that we have number wise of $220,000, that is in deficit. All right. Now, the 296,000 is claimed that this is surplus, which there wasn't any.
Right, but
I know what Diana's saying, that totally, what it was is actually $500,000 total. It's more than that. It's more than that, because you look at, if you look at the first one, up there, it says, let's extend it. Go up a little bit.
Up to the top,
Go
sure.
to the top.
Mhm.
It says, less unexpended balance of $200,000. That was surplus from, supposedly surplus from 2022. Going back to the 2022 AED or AFR, we figured out that the surplus was actually 88,000, not 300,000. So right away, you're $211,000 off there. All right. So in other words, that $211,000 came out of savings. And that's why our savings account dipped in 2021 and 2022.
So how much is it different total?
Almost $1 million in 2 years of in 2022 and 2023. The first thing Jim quickly showed me was our cash reserves, and it showed 2021 being at 8.1 million, and then being at then in 2023, the end of 2023, something like 7.2 million maybe. It was something really low. And
So I just feel like the things that you're saying are not, I don't get that out of this data. And I just want to clarify for the public that what the truth, what the numbers are.
all I'm saying here is that what I'm saying here, the reality here is the fact that we went to deficit spending, and that you can't do. All municipalities have to balance the budget. You can't go, this is not the federal government. So that is a major, we might get cited, I don't know. The Office of State Control, they looked at our AFR and they approved it, more or less. I'm sure they're gonna go in depth later on to see exactly that. They're gonna see that we went through deficit spending in that year, more or less. I think they're gonna, well, I don't know if they go like that. I'm sorry. But that's just I'm giving you the numbers here. And this is the same numbers that the state's gonna look at also. They make a decision on what they want to do with it. All I know is that a lot of times, the way the state moves is really incredible, because back in 2017, they audited our transfer station. Today is 2025, and they're not even completed. That's 8 years. So this might take, who knows how long. I'm sorry to report that these finances, but we are correcting it. We are correcting this. And I do want to say another thing also, that to write the AFR, which should have been done automatically, cost the town an additional $60,000 to $70,000. We had to employ RBT, we had to employ Jim Quigley
Out of our 2024.
out of our 2024 budget. All right, and we had to, not only that, though, we had to take into account Wendy Trojak, who worked tirelessly on this thing. John Perry spent countless number of hours not being paid. I spent a lot of hours on it not being paid for this. Well, that's my job. So, I
And Mike Schultz.
that's my job.
And we never got a figure from Mike Schultz and
And
Michelle.
Mike Schultz and Michelle Bergen from the highway department also looked at this thing, and they also put in their comments here. They also were not paid for this effort and all that stuff. We're talking upwards. The board has asked me to contact an independent auditor, to look into this thing. I looked into an independent auditor. They wanted another $50,000 to do a top to bottom audit on this thing. My feeling is that let the state do it. Because even if we do an audit and present it to the state, it's their decision to go and do further. They see discrepancies in this thing, they should come back and do a forensic audit. Whether they do or not, I don't know. The first question they asked me when we called the state. I just want to say one thing. When I first talked to them, they said they wanted us to, they asked me, was money taken out, stolen? I said, I don't think so. I think it was just mismanaged. I'm done. Any comments, any discussion? Okay. Presentation. We'll start that.
There you go, Betsy. Just tell me when to scroll.
Okay, thank you. And,
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak, but also to provide something a little lighter than the past report. The reports, which I really appreciate that you all spent all that time. My name is Betsy Blair. I live on Hurley Ave, here in Hurley, and I'm the acting chair of the safety committee. And I'm here tonight just to share information about some recent progress in our plans for 2025. So go ahead, Jen.
Next. Sure.
Yeah, yep. And we have three focus areas up here on the screen: emergency medical services, pedestrian, bicycle, and vehicular safety, and emergency plan. Next. So we'll start with emergency medical services. These are not our people and our machines, but they are white. So the only white one I could find. Okay, next. And I just want to acknowledge the assistance of Matt Cerny and Kent Fitzgerald in producing these slides, which they were kind enough to share. Just to recap, the Town of Hurley's Safety Committee has a subcommittee, the EMS subcommittee, that predated the formation of the Safety Committee. However, we're really glad that they're working on these issues. So early last year, representatives from the town and fire districts began meeting to analyze and address the sustainability of volunteers working on EMS in Hurley. And they identified several major challenges. They're up here on the board. Changes in emergency medical service with increasing requirements for all kinds of things: training, equipment.
Oops, sorry, that was on me.
Preparation. Increasing call volumes, and dwindling volunteer participation.
Sorry about that. Just got popped off there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And reduce service from commercial EMS agencies. So next slide, please. And so that subcommittee considered a range of options. They reached consensus to recommend creation of a townwide ambulance service with sufficient public funding, 24/7 paid staffing. This is basic life support, not advanced life support. That's another challenge to be addressed in the future, as you all know. And then following a detailed process that was well managed, the town established an ambulance district just in December to support sustainable EMS for the town. I want to acknowledge again Debbie's role in leading this effort, and all of the folks who were involved in it. Kent could not be here tonight. I understand he's not well. But it's an important role in it. The next slide. So it's a not-for-profit corporation formed to provide EMS under contract with the town. That's going to be assuming operation of the ambulance currently owned by the two fire districts. I think they're selling them for, what is it, Joe? $1? Nominal fee. Okay. So the ambulance service is currently, one, establishing a contract for services with the ambulance district. Two, achieving New York State Department of Health certification and recruiting personnel. Next. This is, in my opinion, lightning speed. I'm just so impressed with all that you all have gotten done. So operation is anticipated to begin in mid-2025 with benefits including an assurance of 24/7 ambulance preparedness. It's not-for-profit local organization that will reinvest proceeds in providing for the community. It's not a money-making operation. It will make money through recouping costs from health insurance and some other sources. And community services such as standbys for athletic events and other public events, CPR training, public access, AED programs, those are all going to be available from this team. They also provide local employment and career development opportunities, which I think is important. Next. One of the issues that brought several of us on the safety committee to Debbie was the pedestrian, bicycle, and vehicle safety challenges that we have in Hurley. We have, next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry, would you mind? I just
That one?
The photo on the right is a frequent thing that you see on Sandbrook Road of a vehicle in the ditch, one of the two ditches. So let's go ahead to challenges. So we have, I think, probably everyone can personally vouch for excess speed on town, county, and state roads. We've documented some of this by speed cameras and Mike Schultes. And the highway folks are going to be doing more data collection with the speed cameras that the town has acquired. They're also available from the county. But we'll be working, this one of the other challenges is of course the ditches on Xanthic, but also in intersection configuration and a number of other road challenges. You know, absence of bike lanes, absence of crosswalks in places where people do cross a fair amount, and there are sidewalks which are required for crosswalks. And then a lack of safe routes and or signage for pedestrians and bicyclists. And I believe usage is increasing. Let's head forward to the next slide, please. One of the concepts that's been in circulation for, I'm not sure when the concept of complete streets, where that name became coined or how long it's been in use, but it's been around for a while, and yet it is still a fresh concept, and a lot of communities are just beginning to adopt it. And I want to salute the town board for adopting it at the last meeting. What does it mean? It means safe and convenient access for all users, including pedestrians, bicyclists, motorists, and transit riders of all ages and mobilities. And additional work by the town board is resolutions to seek 25-mile-an-hour speed limit on all county roads and 40 miles per hour on the section of 209 that parallels the paved section of the rail trail along 209. We think this would make a huge difference, and those of you who were able to hear Harry McNamara's presentation a few months ago, he presented some statistics about how profound a difference it makes, even 10 miles an hour, in terms of the survivability of an accident for pedestrians and bicyclists and vehicles for that matter. Jeremy, next slide.
Up there.
Okay, thank you. So what are we working on now? What are we looking ahead to? We're awaiting county plans to complete the Xanthic Road culvert and walking paths. Their plan is to have the ditches, put in culverts that are sized right, and then create a level area adjacent to the road for walkers and bikers. It's not our ideal dream solution, but it seems to be the one that's feasible right now, and we'll take it. We do have a desire for more information about the school zone emergency path, not more information, better signage. Although the main entrance to the school is back off of Schoolhouse Lane, in an emergency, they'll be walking kids down Schoolhouse Lane to get to a safe place. And so we need to, we need to sign appropriately for that, and we need to put in the crosswalks and the like to have those be safe. There are other traffic calming measures that Mike Schultes and his team has used, particularly on Joyce Lane, temporary speed bumps, which I think were very effective. And we're looking at other solutions for some of the speed challenges as we gather more information about what the, where the speeding hotspots are, and sort of document them. We made a request also to the Ulster County Department of Transportation for assistance to identify an alternative route from the 375 the Village Green. So instead of people biking down 375 or trying to walk down 375, the request is to identify an alternative to that and to sign it appropriately. And then we also, in thinking about this and looking at this, recognize that there are some opportunities and important reasons to extend rail trail connections as alternate routes, as health amenities, as business development, bringing folks in. There are a lot of positives associated with doing that. Next slide. So emergency planning, we have, we can go ahead to the next slide. Activities planned for 2025. And one is to work on a comprehensive emergency management plan with all of the folks who are involved in responding to emergencies. And what will this do? It will ensure our ability to manage emergency and disaster situations efficiently with clear communication and with guidance on, how to, we will have had advanced thought about how to handle all of these things. The committee developed by a team using the process recommended by the State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. That's kicked off by something we're trying to schedule now, which is a municipal emergency preparedness analysis, which is really a look at what are the risks and rank them, and what are the capabilities and capacity to respond to those. So this plan is going to focus on 3 elements. This is sort of the standard way to do these, is in a comprehensive way that are risk reduction, timely and effective response, and short and long-term recovery assistance. Go ahead. So the next one is shout out to Kristen Shara and the Climate Smart Task Force. Discovered that there was an opportunity to work with Cornell Cooperative Extension, if this is a service that they're funded to provide to a handful of towns, and Hurley is one of them in 2025, to develop a heat emergency plan that is intended to address the diverse risks associated with prolonged heat waves. And I can tell you from personal experience, managing a program when we experienced a heat emergency in the field, it really pays to avoid these at all costs. They're very, very serious, and they're very avoidable. So we're meeting with the Cornell Cooperative Extension agent, Darna, to begin kicking off this process. So thank you again, Kristen, for doing this. It's a joint initiative of the Hurley Climate Smart Task Force and the Safety Committee. Go ahead. Thank you. So just, I'm almost at the end, communication and collaboration activities. Wendy Trojak put together a really amazing booth at the 2024 Hurley Day event held in West Hurley. We are planning to do more in the realm of posting brief updates in the Hurley newsletter about what we're doing and what's going on. We are seeking to collaborate on and coordinate our work with other Hurley committees, like the Comprehensive Plan Committee, the Trails Committee, and there's the Climate Smart Community Task Force. And we're also working with nearby communities to share information about, how did you do your planning process for the comp emergency plan, or how did you structure this particular? It's been very helpful. And another one that's not up there is the Hudson Valley Flood Resilience Network, which is a group of communities that have faced flooding and will face flooding, that is sharing information through an organization led by the New York Sea Grant and the Hudson River Watershed Association. But it's really a community sort of directed and embraced network. And so there's a lot of really good information. I'm hoping that Debbie and or Joe will take an interest in being Hurley representatives on it. And I'm sure other things will come up, but thank you so much for this opportunity to bring you up to speed. I want to acknowledge all of the people on the safety committee, but also I didn't have time to collect all of the names of the folks on the subcommittee, the ENS subcommittee, who've been working so hard and so successfully. So thank you again to them. Be happy to answer any questions.
That was great, and thank you for putting all this together. I know this took time, and I know have worked so hard, and as well as the EMS subcommittee, unbelievable progress on that, how we've come so far in such a short period of time. One thing I wanted to add, I got this in my email. New York State communities that are going to 25 miles an hour so far. So, so far, I Googled, I don't know if these are the right numbers or not, but there's about 929 towns and 618 municipality governments, which is cities and villages. So for a total of about 1,547. Out of that, 15 have already gone to 25 miles an hour. Kingston is one of them, and 6 are in process. So 21 out of 1,547 approximately. Like I said, I Googled that. I don't know if that's correct or not. Like 1.4% are either gone there or in process, and Hurley is one of them. So shout out to us. So that just, something that the safety committee has worked on. So we're really, and we keep, we're on the list. So we know that the state is working on improving us. So we're looking for that hopefully in the next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so
very
much
much.
for that update.
Yeah, and I just want to say, thanks a lot, EMS subcommittee for setting such a high bar. We're gonna have to live up to it.
I just want to say one thing, all you people looking at us over here, we are both individuals. We run the town supposedly, but we don't run the town. You guys run the town. All you guys have volunteered, man. My deepest heartfelt thank you for all of you. We could not accomplish what has been done. The safety committee itself, you guys are running. The speed that you're going at, getting this midnight is just truly amazing. And I'm proud of you guys. I think you guys are wonderful, and
All of us.
yeah, every single one of them.
Everyone.
Yeah, there were times where I remember, like years past, we couldn't find people on the committee. Now we have, an influx, and it's so nice that people want to be on these committees because this is what runs the town. So not us. It's the volunteers. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
I read the freedom that, Ulster, the town of Ulster and Kingston
Hannah Kingston.
went into the agreement with like for over $1 million to Empire. And it's
1.3.
1.3
I think it's
million.
1.29 like that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, that's super.
Okay, the next thing is up is public hearing on Katie Greaves continued. Make a motion to open it up. You have to make a motion to open up. This is already open.
You guys never close it.
We gotta close it.
Then it's open.
All right, it's open. Yes, good. One last, vote.
One less thing for Lynn to write
You
down.
want to resume? Okay.
Resume.
Make a motion to resume. Yeah, open public hearing.
1 second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, is Katie speak now? Or do we?
You can ask anyone else here from the public, wishes to speak.
Right. Yeah, this is a public comment period also dealing with the Katie Greaves situation and all that. Is anybody here wishing to speak? This is the escrow. This involves the excessive escrow. It does not involve the solar panels at all. It just involves the excessive fees claimed by Katie Greaves and Alex Perfect, more or less. So if anybody here wishes to make a comment,
What's next?
all right.
All
You want to say something, Katie, at all? About the, just the fees, not anything else.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if everyone's aware, but if you live in a historic district, you need to get a certificate of appropriateness for anything on the exterior of your home, pretty much. If you want to change paint color, if you want to change exterior lighting, windows. So everything that person would normally get to do in another district without asking permission, we have to get a certificate of appropriateness from the planning board. So the historic code does say no fees for, and in the past, that has been, used as no escrow or vouchers or lawyer fees. I've done it in the past and I haven't been charged anything. I think that if you open up the historic district residents to possibly have to pay these large fees for certificates of appropriateness, with the wrong chair, head of the planning board, you could get fees for changing your paint color or changing what light you want to put on the exterior of your house. I think that that is an unfair burden on the residents of the historic district. And I don't think that a certificate of appropriateness should have any fees at all. And I hope that you will agree with me. For things that the planning board would normally hear, sure, we should be paying fees that everybody else should be paying for certificates of appropriateness. Nobody else has to do this. And by possibly charging us extra money for that, it's just not equitable across all of the district. Thank you.
Anybody else? I have your sheets over here and so forth, and you owe approximately $1,700 to the planning board because of this thing. In my opinion, basically, if it means anything, is that you're right. There is a code in the town of Hurley that certificate of appropriateness is free in that aspect of it. And I looked over, and I guess Matt also looked over the fees that were charged to you. In my opinion, when the historical preservation, they came out with a yes or no, then the planning board has to make a decision, yes or no. So what's that? Which way? Instead, they referred it back to the lawyers. And the lawyers spent 9 hours. Deciding whether yes or no is appropriate, more or less. In my opinion, that was not appropriate. No, that should the plan should done right away once the report came in. There's no need to go to a lawyer in a sense, and I don't understand why the lawyer could not say in 10 minutes, yes or no. They have to research something that is. It's in the code. It's in our code law. So that's all it is. So I agree.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I also agree, if it's something very specific for, like, something in the historic district that requires a certificate of appropriateness, if it's something that everybody would do and require a building permit or a, then that's different, but if it's something very specific for the historic district, I agree as well.
All right, so I just want to make some clarification. I know there was a memo last time one of these hearings was before the board. I just want to make a clarification here. So these specific fees are for consulting fees. So if you look at Chapter 19, any board, including yourself, is empowered by Chapter 19 of our local code for consulting fees when they're reasonable and necessary to decide an application. So that's distinguished from the application fees, which you guys have on basically a schedule that pertains to other types of applications. And as is specifically exempted from that in our zoning code, application for certificates of appropriateness, those application fees are exempted. There'll be no application fees. So just so that I want to make the record clear, what you need to decide this on are based on the criteria of Chapter 19, not necessarily whether this has to do with something that's occurring in the historic district or whether it's occurring somewhere else. Chapter 19 is what governs this. So I prepared a memo last time. You guys still have that memo and kind of outlining what you guys need to be looking at. So you should be looking at the specific fees, consultant fees that were charged. My records reflect that there was a bill from the firm that was from October 31st for $1,780. That was for approximately 8.9 hours. And then as you go through that, determine whether that's reasonable and necessary. There was a bill from the planners. The first one was, there were two bills from the planners. The first one was from October 29th of 2024, and that was in the amount of $2 for 2.75 hours worth of work. And the last one from the planners firm was from November 26, 2024. That was for $37.50 for a quarter of an hour's worth of work. As we discussed, and as it's discussed in the memo, there are other criteria that are required under our statute as well. One of the criteria is that the applicant shall be provided an invoice showing what's been charged against their escrow and showing what the escrow balance is every 30 days. Okay. There's nothing that I'm aware of in the record. I do have the letter from the planning clerk from this year. The only letter that I could find in the materials that they sent us was the one that was actually dated for yesterday. But it's my understanding, based on when this application was brought, that there was one that was provided in January as well. Maybe that's something the applicant could.
He said the 26th. I think it was
December.
26th.
So that's another consideration that under this statute that you guys should look at is whether statutorily required updates were provided to this applicant. That's the status of that estimate.
I have a question to ask you, Katie. Your bill is $1,700. If you don't pay the bill, what do you not get from the planning board?
What do I not get?
Right, in other words, I'm saying, you get either certificate of progress or you won't get one.
No, the application has already been decided, so it's not a pending application, so the decision of the zoning board is not dependent on the payment.
What I'm saying, basically, said 1,700 was consulting fees going over on that. So, things so that, go ahead.
So now, you're saying in the code that, or the law, that certificate of appropriateness itself doesn't have a code.
Yeah.
However, in, what is it, section 19?
Definitely.
Chapter 19, that it is possible that consultants, the planning board could get with consultants.
If consultant fees are reasonable and necessary for the determination. And so looking for the reasonable and necessary for the 8.9 hours.
Yeah, I looked at something. Yeah, I looked at it.
As you're aware, we do have a historic preservation committee, which does review this and provide a recommendation to the planning. I know the planning board has had several of these in the past, and it's my understanding that there's no record of any consultant fees ever being charged for this type of application. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not reasonable and necessary, but it is a consideration that you guys do look at.
Like I said, for all the years I was on the planning board, we never,
Yeah.
had certificate of appropriateness to consulting, is historic, somebody from the historic preservation would be there to get questions, we would ask them, you know, why did you do it? And that was the yes or no. Everyone. So they based it on the recommendation. Well, no,
I don't have to.
we can say no, but I mean.
No,
I think that they would tell us why they made that, why that was a yes, why they wanted it, or why they didn't want it. The preservation committee there to tell you, we don't want it because of this, or you do agree. And then you either agree or you don't agree. Right. But I mean, that's the only really outside, other than them looking at the code itself.
All right, so they need to make a decision.
And you need to base that decision, make at least a record, based on chapter 9. So,
Be reasonable. Well, and they didn't get the bill, and I don't think the fees are reasonable. Right, and necessary.
and just to make sure that you clarify if you're saying that a portion of the bill, the fees weren't reasonable, or if you're saying all of the fees were not reasonable for determining this application. And then also determine whether, based on the time frame, whether you think that it justifies reducing or eliminating what's owed based on the time frame in which it was reported to the applicant. So those are kind of two separate determination that we should look at it. At least make a record.
Well, I think that determined it was a reasonable expense and it wasn't given to the monthly. That knocked it out anyway. Not that I think they're reasonable, but I'm just saying, they didn't get the monthly billing due.
So I remember one time when you and the planning board, when it came from the historical society, and needed a note, I needed the C of A and so forth. And decisions made like organization committees, so forth. Then you guys decide yes or no, right? That's fine. There's no need to go to the consultants.
But never just.
So one of before any further discussion, want to make a motion to close public hearing. Proceed.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion now. Again. Is there a breakdown based on those fees and?
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I know you had that 3750, but does it specify?
Yeah.
You go through, get through that.
And you have two consultants that you gotta review.
the planning board did provide a link to all of the invoice
It
information.
really doesn't.
Yeah. You know, I find that also truly amazing that this has already been done. We just got this, yeah,
Yeah,
we just got it. We didn't get it. We didn't get it, weeks before when it should have taken out. We got it now to review more or less. And that, I think is a improper procedure. That's for the loan. Same thing as
I
this.
think it's the same thing. Yeah,
Do you want to make a motion?
I'll make
No.
a motion that we made the fee.
Well, not, that we,
Wait.
well, we make a motion that first off, the fees were not reasonable
That's
Or
it.
necessary.
or necessary. And that the billing was not done in the timely fashion as is required by the law. Therefore, the fees should not be charged.
I second that.
Did I say that right?
Sounded good.
So I would, any recommendation was.
So basically, the town board is making a finding that the consulting fees charged in this application were not reasonable and necessary, and that the planning board failed to remit to the applicant the summary of the escrow charges and balances on a monthly basis.
Did you guys vote?
That's it.
Yeah,
We're getting there. We're slow.
And due to that, you have decided that the fees should be
Not waived.
They shouldn't be-
No, they should not be waived, dismissed.
they should.
Right, they should not be,
Not waived, not
Not
waived.
waiving fees.
No, we want to dismiss the fees. Different story. We ready to vote? All in favor?
I need to make a motion.
I make a motion to vote.
no, I thought Deb made the motion.
And Debbie made the motion. We
So
did
then
that.
do we have a second?
We had a second.
Mike was second.
You second, Joe seconded.
Okay, okay.
All right. End of discussion?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You can breathe.
Thank you so much.
So sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Matt,
I don't know what
Are you
I would've
writing,
done.
are you writing this up?
I really, really. appreciate it.
Not reasonable or necessary.
There
And the summary for the-
Yeah, but instead of using the word waiving the fees, we need the word dismiss.
Not waiving, we didn't say waiving.
Dismissing.
Dismiss.
Dismissing. And we wave to that. I'll smile when I drive past your fence tomorrow morning.
Is there anything else?
I thought the little decorations is yours.
We're
Okay.
gonna have a drink.
Drink after you get home. Take care.
Thank you. I got my command board. I think that it's over the top of the scene. All right, okay. Okay, next thing, amendment to, building fee schedule discussion. All right. This is a- this one goes in there.
Oh, this is the amendment. Okay, I got you. All right. So,
What it basically is asking for, any fees that have not been collected are be
Get
rolled
levied.
over, get rolled over into their tax levy.
well, this is specifically though for buildings that are, need to be repaired, stored, or demolished because they become unsafe. This is very specific for that purpose. And that it includes the cost of actual removal of such building and all reasonable necessary legal expenses incidental thereto shall, at the option of the town board, be assessed against the land on which such building is located and shall be levied and collected as a special ad valorem levy. Can I say that right? Be collected by the commencement of a special proceeding against the owner of said unsafe and dangerous building or structure pursuant to general municipal law 17B, or be collected in any other manner allowed by law. So this would be a special levy to secure unsafe buildings.
Let me just give a little background. There are buildings in town of Hurley that are left, we call them ghost buildings. They just,
Zombie buildings.
yeah, they just left unrepaired. And, you know, the people who own them still pay taxes on them. And when the building inspector goes there and puts a claim on it, they don't respond at all. So the thing is though, that what we'd like to do, what the building department wants to do, is to take those fines and add it onto the tax levy. And if they refuse to pay a tax levy, then they go to foreclosure. You know, and the thing is, what we want to do basically is that we're inviting danger, we're inviting people, the kids especially, to go into those buildings and all that. And, you know, be kids and all that. So we just want to protect what we have in the town more or less. And get these buildings either demolished, taken care of, or,
It'll protect the neighbors as well, but people have to live next to it.
well, not only that though, having a zombie building next to you, it goes your property value also. That's a danger right there. So I think this is an excellent bill. You know, we do have a couple of houses in town of Hurley that this would apply to. And, you know, we have tried in certain of these buildings to try to contact the owners. And we have not been successful. In fact, we've been trying for 12 years.
And this would create a special tax district, a special district tax field. But then, our separate can use to manually levy. So,
Yes. Whatever the fines are and the interest on those things, then get added to the tax levy.
okay, so we'll look at this one next meeting.
What we'll do next meeting, we'll have a resolution for this. Okay, yes, okay, yeah, I just wanted, the town generator, we had this is, I guess, 2 weeks ago, we had a blackout.
Power outage at the, yeah.
Yeah, we had a major blackout.
Didn't last long, but it knocked everything out.
Yeah, and, kind of hard when we are an emergency site, building with that emergency equipment there going through there. And, we actually literally, when this thing happened, we had to close the town hall down. Because, you know, no water, nothing, you can't do that.
It's probably happened at least twice in the time that I've been with the town. So it's once a year, a little more.
We are an emergency site. Yeah, building like that, so we have to be open all the time. We are a control center, everything also. I would like to see, I've asked, our maintenance man, Pat, to look at a generator. That would generate, that we can use in the town building. And then it's necessary.
Why don't you try the battery and use lots of solar?
One way or the other, we try that, don't we? The solar batteries or a generator. I think right at this point right now, so that, generator is cheaper.
One of the ones still paying, you put a propane tank in.
So I want you guys to think about the generator. I mean, this is, those things.
Do you talk to associations of towns, like the most other towns have a generator? Because
They
every town's
do.
gotta be the emergency. fund,
Right,
so-
right. They all do. In fact, the newer buildings have generators in there.
So if we have that solar array, I mean, I agree with John that we should be looking for something
I
that's
think it's just
solar.
a matter of some kind of a back.
Something, well, we put it this way, we need to be open. Simple as that. And so,
Can we do some research
yes,
options?
yes. Patrick, would you look into like a solar batteries also besides,
Just different
Dana?
options.
I'll do it tomorrow.
all right, good. Okay, thank you. Okay, compensatory time for full-time employees. There is nothing in the contract, well, you want to talk about this thing, Diana, since, you're almost negotiating?
Well, in our employee, before the contract, the union contract, there was no compensation.
Compensation.
Comp time. Compensatory. So it's compensatory.
So we did not put it in the contract for the union, but it has been brought up. However, you only could use it for somebody who would be able to take it, like if you're so busy working all the time, like you're not gonna be able to use comp time. So we decided that there might be one employee in that building. We were gonna do a pilot,
Yes.
but that the other employees didn't, that wouldn't help them. So,
What compensatory time basically is that, when you go overtime, you go to overtime more or less, instead of giving them overtime, you give them time and a half in compensatory time.
right, so if
Which
you
means they
work,
can take off that time later on,
right,
as opposed to getting paid.
if you had 20 hours of overtime, you would get 30 hours comp time.
Right.
Is that cumulative?
It's
Cumulative for the year.
for the year, only for the year. It has to be done in the year.
And then at the end of the year, you get paid for it, which is why I think some people wanted it, because they're looking for the bonus at the end. But if you're not gonna be able to, ideally, it's to save yourself the overtime fee. So it's not to give somebody a bonus at the end. So if you have to be able to have the time to take off somewhere down the road, so.
I think that time needs to be improved on a certified employee is triggered
Exactly, that's right. You can't just,
for the benefit of the pilot.
yes, it has to be,
Yes.
it has to be managed very, very closely. So that we were talking 40 hours,
64.
right, 40 hours overtime for 60 hours comp time. But again, you can't take it themselves. They have to get it approved by you that I'm gonna be staying 5 hours overtime this week and I'm gonna take compensating time. But we only found it for one employee in that building. And it's a pilot for the year. We didn't approve it yet, but the next
No.
time we meet, that's what we were
That's what
talking
you,
about.
yeah, part of the next discussions with the union.
Right.
I had one, getting back to the union, this is something that, I'm not understanding at all. We have a building inspector that was salaried and hourly, then salaried and hourly. And I'm not quite sure why our building inspector is hourly when our assessor is salaried, when the building inspectors in Ulster are salaried, but our building inspector is hourly. Where I spoke to the civil service about that, and they say that's town's decision. To make to either decide totally being hourly or salary coming through here, and I've been told you can't do that. I don't understand.
Yeah,
how-
we never talked about that.
I know, but I'm
in
just saying-
negotiations, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I think that's another discussion in negotiating, because, if someone is hourly, if someone's salary comes hourly, that's a lot of overtime. To be able to handle that kind of thing. And I don't understand why, that is so, I mean, there was nothing precedent in civil service. They said it's up to town's decision. It means it's our decision.
Right, as I've got always, I think a person's always been hourly. Even
Well,
going back to Glenn,
he started, what,
When was salary?
Glenn was salary.
Glenn the salary.
Glenn was salary, yeah. Glenn was salary, Tom China was salary, Paul Connors was salary, until he wasn't salary.
Then that was done at the union negotiation on the union side, on the hourly. So that's all I can say, because we wouldn't,
Yeah, so I'd like to have that discussion in the next negotiation.
I don't know if it'd be next, it might be next year's negotiation, because I think we only have 2 or 3 things that we were doing.
I just
We'll have to
don't-
talk to Mike Richardson and find
Yes.
out if we can open that up at this point. I don't know that you can.
Okay. Feature. The amount of time we spend on retail in the town of Hurley is just enormous. You catch people up with it. We have an unlined landfill. All right, it is capped, but when it rains, the water percolates down through the cap into the trash below there, and whatever chemicals are there are being leached out. And these chemicals are dangerous. They're very toxic, chemical. One of the chemicals two of the chemicals that we see there, well, actually three chemicals that we're looking at. One is PFAS, another one is PFOAs, and the other one is 1,4-dioxane. We're looking at that, and because of those three chemicals in our leachate, the town landfill has been considered a Superfund site. All right. So we've been doing leachate pools ever since 1996, when the regulations came in. When in 1996, any landfill that was capped from that point forward has to undergo leachate for collection and all that. Other towns that were capped sooner or earlier than that do not have to go through leachate collection at all, just monitoring. We have spent a fortune, as I mentioned, in 2023, we spent over almost $200,000 on leachate pools coming through there. A report came out in December of 2024 by Rebecca Martin, and also from Riverkeeper, saying how, and they mentioned her specifically, how our leachate is being taken to the Kingston wastewater treatment plant and dumped into the Hudson River. Going through there without being any kind of treatment on it. Kingston Wastewater Treatment Center does not have devices, filters to take out PFAS and PFOAs. Now, so what's happened basically is, when that report came out, I got a letter from an email from Steve Noble, the mayor of Kingston, who immediately suspended our right to bring leachate to the Kingston wastewater treatment. I would have loved for that letter to say you have 30 days to find an alternative, but we were shut out that same day. We have called up Albany, we have called up Poughkeepsie, we have called up Saugerties, we have called up Beacon, if they would take our leachate. They all said no. All right. We have maybe one place that will take our leachate, and that is Passaic Valley Wastewater Treatment Center, and that's in Jersey. And it would cost us about $3,000 to have it trucked over there, plus 2 hours back and forth time of the truck itself. We're talking about $10,000 and mileage. We're talking about $10,000 a full. This is just that's what I'm thinking of. When right now we're only paying about $700 total for each call going through. You know, so we have tried our best, and I called up the DC. DC has been very, well, I shouldn't say helpful. They understand our plight. We can't do a thing. We're stuck in a rock and a hard place. We can't do a thing at all. So I called up DC. I said, now it's your problem. I called up John Milgram, who was in charge of the DEP, because 2 years ago, when leachate pools were suspended for whatever reason, 15 months, what happened was the leachate went into people's wells. The New York City reservoir is a direct line of that path. What we're trying to do, okay, what we try. Yeah. All right. So right now, are we looking? The answer is no, because we look, take it, and DC has. What's happening right now is that tomorrow they are bringing they're going to collect samples of leachate from our leachate, the Kingston wastewater treatment plant, to see if we meet. If we meet the requirements for it, maybe they will allow us to go back to Kingston, do this kind of thing. Beacon is also looking at our leachate and determining whether they will take it, but they have caps to it. They will allow a certain amount, and they will charge us a flat fee no matter how much leachate we bring in per bowl. We can bring in 7,000, they'll charge us whatever that is. If we bring in like less than that, they'll charge us the full amount. So and that's only for part-time. That's only for
But we generally always have a full tank.
we always have full tanks. But the thing is, in other words, they charge $7,000. They charge for 7,000 gallons. We bring in sometimes 6,500 gallons. They would charge us for 7,000 gallons. So that's going to be about 2,000 itself there also. Well, we also have we can't go through UCLA to do our leachate pools, because UCLA is only licensed in Ulster County. You have to go to an outside source to carry it. Suggestion was made that we hire our own tank. You know, buy our own tanker, get a driver, do our own pumping, and then what? No. DEC had made a suggestion to us, and I think it's kind of ridiculous, that we should get a bunch of storage tanks put on the landfill, and that we should fill those up. I said, that's great for 3 days. And then what? So if you see like a lot of storage tanks on the landfill, that's the way we're going. And I think we have no choice. We have no decision. We have nothing to do. In my opinion, it's in the hands of the DEC to decide what is going to be done. The DEC said they will come in, they will clean up our landfill, but we have to pay for it. We have a 1.325 million grant that appears to us that's going to be accepted. That's going to be given to us because they're asking us questions about who our contractor will be. Do they have prevailing wage? What's their insurance? These are questions I presume they wouldn't ask if they would say no. And the thing is also, this 1.325 million grant from the Environmental Facilities Corporation, part of the DEC, will do a study on how to move that. And I believe once that grant comes into us, there's a second grant to go through it, be the solution.
But that's great, but how long of a process is that? Can't
Getting the grant or the study.
quick, the grant and the study.
Well, I'll put it this way, the grant deadline is June 15th of 2024. We submitted it at the end of May, our grant. It is now what? November.
But how long would it take for the study though? Even
It would take about a year. Maybe not,
we
maybe
still
not.
have a problem in the meantime.
Right, but here's the things though, if we have that grant, we could then possibly go to Mayor Steve Noble and say, hey, this is only temporary. We dump this leachate now in a sense.
And did the leachate pool, couldn't you take that out of the plant money or something? Wasn't that in the leachate pool?
No, we wouldn't, well, it could do that, but it also includes our corporate, the corporate engineers that are working with it. Any money that we're spending right now on this grant that we're paying out right now will be reimbursed as part of the grant. There's two solutions that is feasible, but I was researching. First one is dig up the entire landfill and bring it somewhere else. So what you're doing is taking the problem downstream somewhere else. That's not feasible. All right, the second one is doing on-site treatment, which makes a lot of sense. We do the treatment there, we clean out the PFAS, the PFOAs and 1,4-dioxane, clean that out, then pump what's left over, filtrate into a pond and do it that way. Someone suggests us, why don't we do that? And first of all, the on-site treatment is a lot of money to start with. And things are, if we attempt to do that right now, that might jeopardize our grant in the future because the grant is given when you don't have the money to do this thing. So if they see that we're doing this thing, it will jeopardize our grant. So our point is right now, sitting on a time bomb.
We don't really have a solution.
We have no solution. But not only that, the DEC has no solution either. And so,
Look at the meeting on the 20th, talk to.
we have, no, that's something different. So that's safety committee. No, but we've had two meetings so far with Michelle Hinchy, 10 members from the DEC, Steve Noble and so forth. And what Steve Noble is doing now, he's looking at his effluent, what comes out of his wastewater to see that reaches what's called the MCL, the maximum contaminant level. And if it doesn't, and it takes our leachate, if it doesn't reach the MCL, we'll take our leachate back in that respect. If it doesn't overcome that and this kind of thing. So that's what we're waiting for. And tomorrow, the director of the treatment wastewater treatment plant is coming to sample our leachate and send it to a study to see exactly what we have. The PFOAs and the PFAS we have is 70 parts per trillion. The PFOAs and the PFAS is 30 parts per trillion. The MCL level right now is 10 parts per trillion. That's being lowered to 4 parts per trillion. What I would like to see, honestly, in the long run, is that we get a class action suit against the pond who has made the PFAS. And according to studies shown, they are aware of that. I know.
What we're pursuing, yeah.
What we're pursuing now basically is that
We're looking for options. What options we're exploring right now. There's a grant that is going to hopefully pay for some more research into this, and if the grant provides, or if we get that grant,
We'll get the
there's a
second
good likelihood that we'll get the second grant, which might actually pay for certain improvements to address it on site. Correct?
but again,
It's a process and
it's a long process. Yeah. getting the study done, getting the second grant, getting done, could be you. literally. And, we have all this leach out. All right,
Keep it posted.
I definitely will. Okay, grant for Hurley Heritage Community Center, we were given a $375,000 grant. All right, from a benefactor, Rockefeller Philanthropy, giving us that money. Our portion of it is that we have to put in $125,000. We have another, it's 3-for-1 coming through. I want to thank Tim Kelly, who spearheaded the grant funding, and he also was part of the, and still is part of the Hurley Heritage Community Center committee. Get that thing done. We have approved the roofing. Jane, we have done that, so I'm just waiting for you to give us a, go in and. Okay, and, again, I just, thank you, Tim.
The full project will be going to bid.
Yeah. Okay, the next thing here, we talked about the AFR, transfer of capital funds. All right. Talked about reconciliations, yep. Increase the 2025 funding for Hurley seniors. This is Reverend Stickley. Okay, this is, we have, in the past though, we have given the Hurley senior. Well, I shouldn't say Hurley senior, because it's all senior.
No, it's Hurley Senior.
Senior line. Anybody, but they do have some things, but I gotta tell you, I go to that meeting when I can monthly, they have almost 100 people every month. I mean, it is just
That's
quite
amazing.
the group.
And the thing is, though, we have given them in the past $3,000. This year, we put in for 3,500 for this one. Reverend said he wants 4,500.
But back in the day, we used to get
500?
you know, they came out of recreation,
500 or 1,000?
5,000.
5,000.
But it used to come out of recreation, money.
No, and the thing is, though, so the question is for us, again, this is something we're going to decide next board meeting.
Oh, I thought it was gonna
The resolution for that?
Yeah, and the
All right, we can do
the
that.
transfer reconciliation was in here too, if you want.
So I spoke with the Reverend, and I requested that he put in to writing the request, and also what he's looking for with the bus trips. That was supposed to be done before the budget was drafted, and he would have potentially gotten that money back. If you could hold off on this a little bit, he's got the money to do the 2 bus trips, so do the 3rd bus trip. But I'm trying to go outsource and try to get the other $1,200 and change, whatever it is that he's looking for, potentially through our bank, our insurance company, whatever. A lot of times they'll
You want
donate.
something?
I just
Table
need
this?
something from him to show the bank or whoever I'm gonna go and request money from. Then next year,
Yeah, but you want Mike to talk to him?
we already spoke.
You saw, yeah.
But he just wants us to hold off where you can find. I will say they canceled their meeting, last week because of the snow.
Right,
Yeah, they
okay,
didn't
so,
meet.
right, so, but we spoke on the phone, and, the key is he's gotta provide some sort of,
Right.
information. We just
Right,
can't cut
because
him
you
a
gotta
quick
go
check.
somewhere and say.
He's gotta use the money,
Right.
show us that he used the money, we can cut him a check.
Okay.
So and I have no problem, but I really believe, I think I can get this money from elsewhere outside of the taxpayers. Okay.
Excellent.
All right, so let's just table this.
If not, we'll find the money.
Yep, okay.
Okay, I just want to go back,
Take it out of the
we have a resolution here also for the reconciliation of capital funds. I want to go back to that.
Up on the screen.
This is, what we're doing now is replenishing the capital fund that used in 2024, 275, it's here. All right, so this is a resolution for reconciliation of capital funds. Be resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to make the following fund transfer. Transfer from 8/24/01, that is our back interest. All right, which is unallocated funds of $21,000 to capital 2H landfill. And that brings the capital fund into a positive territory. B, transfer from capital 20H landfill and highway solar panels of $100,000 to capital 2H 10 landfill. Because that's something that we are going to be spending quite a lot of money. C, transfer from capital 29, as landfill and highway solar panels of $60,000 to capital 28, that's recreation. We have an $80,000 matching grant coming in. We have to match it. There's $60,000. We also can use $20,000 of in-kind service. Mike Schultz has volunteered. Mike Schultz will send over his highway crew to do some work there for $20,000. So we can cover that come through. Next thing, transfer 1.25 million from a truck purchase bond to capital 3H highway. We have bought, the high price bought 4 trucks for 1.25 million, and they will all be coming in very shortly. So, that 1.25 million is put into the highway garage. Okay. All right, E, not the highway garage, but the highway department. Right, 3H. E, transfer from the Bank of Greene County account. This is 1668. For some reason, this is called a highway account, and we have no clue why it was formed. We have no idea. You look back at the records, you ask Bank of Greene County, why was this formed? And they go, they don't know. They have no idea either, but it's formed, it's not necessary. And what was done, that every time a highway truck was auctioned off, the money went to this account. So we did it as a surplus account, yeah. So we wanted to basically is take the 17,700 that's in there right now for a sale of a highway used truck and bring it back to 3H, into the highway department. And this one I talked to you, this is a pending. We have a $23,000 check from CD Development. No, we didn't deposit to it. When I spoke to Jim Bacon, he said that he spoke to you about this.
Yeah, well, basically there are agreements in place that were signed in 2023 and 2022 and so on that discuss the payment of fees. And the payment must be consistent with the fee schedule that was in place at that time. So it should reflect, I don't know what that fee schedule is. I don't have that, so I can't intelligibly comment on. But I'm assuming that the attorney for Cedar Development is looking to, pay as little as necessary.
Right.
But I would just make sure that before you deposit anything, that it accurately reflects.
I told him to hold on to that check, and you want your recommendation. So what we should do right now,
This one should be struck.
this is stuff, should be, well, how about this, is it possible tabling one part of,
So what you can do is you just amend the resolution to remove section F.
Okay. All right.
And then make a motion to pass the resolution as amended with section F removed.
Okay. Make the motion?
I make a motion to, approve the resolution, or to remove, F from the reconciliation of capital funds. Second,
I second it.
all in favor?
Aye. Okay, I make a motion to pass the resolution for the reconciliation of capital fund. Is there a
And
second?
amended.
As amended, yes.
Second.
Okay,
First.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have Greg is absent.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now the next, for public hearings.
yes, these are resolutions for public hearing, and I think,
Okay.
I think that this, you've actually changed it, right? And amended them?
So
Yeah,
basically.
they're updated. Look at
These should be the updated ones on here.
So basically, the wording, not only does it include the mandatory, notice requirements or basically any reference to what the hearing is under chapter 19. So those aren't the amended ones. I can read, so I'm not sure who
No, we haven't that.
Yeah,
No, you've all gotten it.
yeah. So basically, if you want me to read them, I can read them. They were provided in the
I think
packet.
it's one that's staple. But it's the one that's staple,
Oh, it's that separate two sheets. It's
the
these.
staple one.
Oh, yes, okay, yeah,
I suppose it's normal.
yeah, these two that we. You did it.
And do you have those?
Yeah.
Or-
I actually do have them. You want Moody?
Those
Yep.
are the only two.
Yeah, these are the versions that you submitted to Samara today.
Correct.
So that's up there now. This is the Moody one.
So we'll,
We already have the times on here, so 1 at 6 and 1 at 6:30.
gonna be reviewing and passing each separately, so two separate, sets of resolutions.
Okay, we have to read the resolution or is it sufficient?
No, we're not, yeah.
So it doesn't change the substance of the time, place, or when the public hearing is being held, but, basically it accurately, outlines what the public hearing is for. Again, addressing outstanding consultant fees assessed for planning board files, and that the applicants contesting those fees pursuant to chapter 19 of the town code, and that, under that chapter, there shall be written notice sent to the applicants by certified mail return receipt requested that is required under the code, and that's in addition to the regular notice requirements published in the town's newspaper. So those were the changes made to the resolution that was originally presented.
I make a motion to accept the resolution to accept public hearing pursuant to chapter 19.
This is a new version.
All right, for Moody or for Arizona? or-
This is,
This first one is Arizona.
you want to do Arizona first?
Moody is for six, yeah.
All right, so Moody. first.
Moody first. Okay.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
All right.
Okay,
All right. I'll bring up the revised.
and then we have one for,
This is the revised resolution for Arizona. Yep.
okay, and that is for 6:30.
Gotta stop doing that.
Make a motion,
All
all in favor?
I'm sending out notices.
Okay, next one is resolution for public hearing. Of Set fees for Doyle Haywood by the planning board.
I'll second. Do we have that one? Proper- Yeah,
Cool.
this was for 6:10.
Oh, I haven't even seen that. Oh, boy.
I think Samara wrote this.
This is a new one,
It's a new one, he's got today.
but this is also pursuant to,
Right, so you can't do this one without
So-
having it set up with like the other one.
well, what I will just do is cross out the number. You guys have the planning board application number? This
No.
application?
No, it doesn't say.
When was, the information, where the person was
This was given,
contacted the town to?
well, what it was, basically, this actually sat on Paul's desk for about a month. And we just discovered it. And that's why we put it in there. We can actually, now, can we pass this resolution as it is right now, and then,
Well, what we can do is we can just,
of course, I can,
and use one of these resolutions in its place, but read it into the record. So the only things that are changing are the time. It's the same date for the hearing, correct?
Yes.
This is saying it's just, what's the applicant's name?
this is,
Doyle.
Deborah Doyle and Eric Haywood.
And this is one applicant.
Yes.
Okay.
This is 6:10 PM and we don't have the file.
And we don't have a file number,
No, not yet, no.
or I'm just gonna write them planning board application by.
And, well,
Hold on one second. Okay, why don't you do this then? Joe?
okay, Stango's the next one. Right here. Okay.
Let's pass this one first.
No, oh, I'm saying.
All right, well, while that's being done over here, we have a resolution to have a public hearing for resolution to pursue to chapter 64 of the town of Hurley Code, determining an unsafe building exists at 329 Old Route 209 and scheduling a hearing for February 25th of 2025.
I'll make that one.
Okay, there is no time for this.
Yeah, it says 7 at the bottom.
6.
6:30 says, yeah.
The notice says 6 o'clock, by the way. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Um,
All right.
who moved it, Mike?
Yeah.
So we have to amend this,
Dan,
make it 6:45.
No, let's
Just leave it.
the notice went out for 6 o'clock. That was sent out.
We have to amend this to 6:05. Okay, with that, and then the other public hearings, because we already have something.
We can schedule a million public hearings, as many as we want at the same time. They
Okay.
just can't take place at the same time.
Right. And they can't be,
And they
and
can't
be
take place
early.
earlier than notice.
Okay.
So
Okay.
6:30 is fine, but if she sent the notice out for 6, then you might as well have that accurately reflect what the notice is.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll make that motion as amended.
Okay. Second it. All right. Make a motion to pass this resolution.
Aye.
All right. So it's over.
As amended. As amended. 6.
Yeah.
This other resolution.
Okay, this is, Matt wants to read the other resolution.
Okay.
All right, so this is the resolution to set a public hearing pursuant to chapter 19 of the town code of the town of Hurley for the planning board application of Deborah L. Doyle and Eric Cawood. Whereas there are outstanding consultant fees assessed against the planning board application by Deborah L. Doyle and Eric Cawood, and whereas the applicants Deborah L. Doyle and Eric Cawood have contested payment of those fees to the town board pursuant to chapter 19 of the town code, therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Hurley shall hold a public hearing pursuant to section 19(5)(f) of the town code on February 25th, 2025 at Town Hall, 10 Walmsley Place, Hurley at 6:10 p.m. to address.
Doesn't matter.
6:10 p.m. to address the outstanding consultant fees for planning board file, or for planning board application of Deborah L. Doyle and Eric Cawood. Be it further resolved that the town clerk shall cause written notice to be sent to the applicants by certified mail return receipt requested. Be it further resolved that the town clerk shall cause notice of said public hearing to be published in the town's newspaper record and in all other outlets as provided by law. Resolution of the town board. Do I have a motion?
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
You want to give a contact?
Yeah. I'll take that.
Okay. All right,
And then,
next one.
when are those going to show up in the paper, just so I can watch, make sure they get it right
Friday,
this Friday?
No,
10
do this
days prior,
tomorrow. So
10 days prior is the 15th.
So it's a Saturday, so.
So we're gonna aim to put them in on Friday.
Okay, our next resolution here is the firefighters. You can sit there. People say.
Did we do Arizona yet?
Yes.
Did Arizona.
Yeah, that passed 4-0.
Are we past this time, or this is going to be for the next one?
So
We have 3 here.
for the record, Verity has recused from this because she is a volunteer firefighter.
Okay, this is resolution of 2025 to schedule a public hearing for proposed local law number 1 of 2025 to provide a tax exemption for volunteer firefighter and ambulance personnel. Whereas New York State has implemented real property tax law, section 466, granting.
This was previously, yeah, this has been previously, you don't have to read out. It was previously posted. It's up there right now for everyone to read. So basically.
I make a motion to accept.
Nope, it's to schedule a public
Schedule
hearing
a public
for
hearing.
proposed local law number 1 of 2025 to provide a tax exemption for volunteer firefighters, and ambulance personnel.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that's gonna be me, Diana, Debbie has abstained, Joe, Gregory is absent. Okay. I have a question to ask you. Stephanie.
Yeah.
You said to me there's a deadline when this has to be done.
On March first, the firefighters want to get their section, they have to have the paperwork into the assessment by March first.
Okay. All right, so we have a so the 25th, we have our hearing.
I can come back.
Yes, and,
She said March first?
March 1st.
So you would have to pass it right after the hearing.
It's good.
No,
No,
you
no.
schedule the
We
hearing.
scheduled the hearing.
Yeah, you would have to pass
Yeah,
it that
that
evening,
day.
and people would have to get their application.
Yeah.
By March first,
Okay,
or to get it. this
all right,
And that'll leave the 4 days. Short month.
okay, so we did that, we did Sango. Next one is this resolution to authorize supervisors to sign a community solar contract. Whereas community solar was offered at no cost to the town, while offering a 10% refund to the town from Central Hudson. Therefore, we was out to the town board, the town of Hurley, to authorize supervisors to sign the community solar contract. I do want to say something here, that the projected saving is $1,400 a year. From it's in here. Of course, the town's nothing at all whatsoever. I was told to contact Association of Towns on this thing here. They have nothing. No input. They don't do this thing. I contacted the Better Business Bureau. Complaints on this thing is very minimal for one. They said that, they have, I guess they call it an A1 rating. Whatever that means, I'm not sure what that means, but that's what it's like. No. There's also another resolution, another one I'll bring back later on, where we can encourage people to get solar, to belong to a solar community grid, and we will get a rebate, or something back.
Do we have to be in this for a certain amount of time, or can we get out of it any time? Or
In this thing?
No, under the agreement, yeah, you can. So,
go in or out whenever?
Bring it down a little bit. Yeah, so pass.
No, we didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Can I make a
Your
motion?
motion?
I'm making a motion to,
Well, are we doing this or is this for next one?
No, we do.
We're gonna sign it.
we're doing it as a resolution.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
No one's opposed? Okay, the next thing here is resolution to accept John Perry budget contract. I just want to just make comment for the
Budget office.
budget officer. Yes, this is a budget officer. I just want to make a comment statement about John Perry's budget officer. As it is right now, he is the budget director. He gets $5,000 stipend. His work actually starts in September. That August, starts in August. So in other words, that's what he will do from August to the end of the year. And prior to that, he really works with Wendy Trojak, he works with myself, he works with the town board. He's invaluable, he works with the planning board. He does all the escrow balances, keeps that in mind more or less. I think the fact is, this is a valuable person. And the thing is, in 2024, there was a budget line of $2,500 for the deputy supervisor. He refused it. In 2020, the 2025 budget, he took it out foolishly. So in my opinion, we owe you at least $5,000. So I would like to see, I would make a resolution. Is there a resolution?
So we're.
Right there.
Budget Officer contract.
A budget officer contract.
So you have to amend that
What did you say again?
budget contract.
Budget officer, okay.
And is there a, limit?
It's,
the hours?
it's 10 hours a week, is it? Up to 10 hours a
Doesn't,
week?
doesn't say that on here.
The bottom. Oh, on the contract.
And you said it
Yeah,
starts,
10 hours a week at a rate of.
You look at the contract?
It's up here.
No, that right there, no Diane, right there. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and you said that the stipend starts in August. And this says it starts in September.
No, January to August, and then from September to December is when I do the budget.
Okay.
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 All right. So, motion to accept budget officer, right? That was it?
Yep, so motion, the resolution as amended.
Motion to, yes.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
You're not, you can accept it now, right?
Let's put in 3 hours.
All right. Okay. we have,
Did they amend it?
the next one,
Okay, you made a motion.
we already did this.
I thought- I said-
We did that, we did it.
Done.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Jane is done? Okay.
No, we didn't, I gave it to you.
It's a resolution.
We're talking about J&A.
Did we
Yeah.
approve?
I've had two.
You guys haven't voted.
We had to approve tonight, we got the bids. Yeah, when we open the bids.
Yeah, I think so. But you want to make sure we just approve it again?
I said I haven't
think
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, basically, this is just authorizing you to sign the contract.
Excuse
So
me,
their bid was approved.
Bid was approved, this was signed the contract.
excuse me. You voted to amend this resolution.
On Perry.
In the vote to,
I thought we did
Carry
recommend
the
it.
We did,
you voted to amend it.
and we voted to carry it
I
also.
thought we.
I didn't hear two separate votes.
No, it was voted to approve as amended.
Yeah, we said approved as I said.
Approve as amended.
Okay, so with the J&A, resolution to authorize supervisor to sign the contract. Basically, we've already accepted their bid, and had to sign the contract.
What's the blank in here?
Because that's the resolution number in which you accept the bid. So that would have been from last meeting. I don't know.
January 28th meeting?
The language said. you could
Probably
sign
have it.
Resolution. You have the minutes, right?
No, I don't-
January 28th minutes are here, so let's look at them.
So-
Nope, that's the
Yeah,
agenda. Sorry, hold on.
See the,
You need the number.
number.
Yep, let's pull it up.
yeah, yeah.
January 28th minutes. So clerk's report.
Okay.
What page?
The end. You're the end.
It's at the page near the end.
It's
Thanks.
one of the last resolutions that was passed.
All right, I'm getting there. Alternate, favorite. Elizabeth worries, transfer station, Hurley bike and pedestrian connection, kiosks, EV. There it is. 2025-021.
Therefore, be it resolved that you authorize the supervisor to accept the bid
And that's
Oh,
all.
and it does say.
and execute.
We have it.
So then we have to do this.
That's what it said. I can't say it.
He already passed.
It's gonna say it,
Yeah.
Yeah, it said execute a contract.
Right.
So this is,
already signed.
So already, you already have the power to sign it.
so we're killing it. Okay.
All right, next one is, this resolution to authorize supervisor to sign the agreement with ACOM. ACOM is the contractor that's going to be doing the study on the landfill. The 1.325 million grant. We were told by EFC that's doing the grant, that's the said that we have to sign a contract with them in order to accept that, one of the stipulations. So this is to sign the contract with ACOM, knowing very well that if we don't get the grant, it's contingent on the grant.
Okay.
All right.
As long as it's contingent on the grant.
Says that right here. All right, so I'll read it. All right, whereas the town must sign the preliminary scope of the proposed agreement for the remedial investigation of feasibility study in order to receive the, all right, okay, hold on. All right, this is a mistake here. It's 1 million it's actually 1.325 million.
Oh.
Oh, there's a one missing.
There's the one missing. The big one,
It's homestead.
1.325 million.
1.32.
Rid of it.
What is EFC?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right,
Environmental.
whereas
Not
these
sure.
monies being received are contingent on the DEC EFC grant being approved, therefore be resolved by the town board of the town of Hurley to authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement with ACOM.
Yeah, so motion as amended.
Motion as amended. Motion to amend,
Motion
as amended. Okay, yeah.
Diana said, I
Okay,
said.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
My day looks fun tomorrow. How about
All
yours?
right, resolution.
I motion to accept resolution to appoint Stephanie Rice as part-time zoning board of appeals strategist. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie.
Okay, the next. I just want to, this is the Nelson Pope Bories contract that we approved. Last, we approved this last time, but, there was something in that,
We amended it.
we amended it. And the amended is the highlighted portion on number 2, on page, 822. And what this is basically, we can go hourly wage with that, or we can go contingent.
Okay, well, the last one that we did was all about the, only as requested by the planning board. I don't see that anywhere in here. In here, it looks like she's gonna come to every planning board meeting.
No,
And here to the tenants at meetings of the planning board, town board, or town agency to review an application. Doesn't say as requested or as this,
did we add that on last time, or was it already in the contract?
Upon
it was in the
request.
contract last time, but the way this reads, she would have to come to every single meeting.
Okay, all
Have
right.
a look at every single
So let's-
application.
It does seem where it talks about upon the request of the planning board chair or town.
On the previous one, I don't see that anywhere on here.
No.
Are you looking at the meeting?
No, go back to this
Which
one.
is the one that you provided today? Or,
I don't know, it's in our package.
Says the following services as requested. Scope of services,
Where
B.
do you see that?
And first page B says as requested. I don't know if that
Okay.
satisfies your concern.
It does say who's being requested by. And I wish it to change.
Just as requested.
Right here, right here, scope, no, scope. Says NPU shall be responsible. NPU is responsible for providing the following service as requested.
Mhm.
That's sufficient enough, Diana?
It should be as requested by the planning board chair.
By the
I
planning
think
board
it
chair
needs
or the
planning
town board.
Or the town
Who
board.
wants, all right.
Yeah, I just want to
Okay.
be
well, there are
clear,
two separate,
because-
the agreement does include services to both the town board and the
Right.
planning board.
So. Usually nothing is okay.
I think it needs to be, I think it needs to be specific. I don't want them to think that they can get a call from anybody else.
Oh, and they could send anybody. They could send
What is that?
Adriana again.
It needs to be the planning board chair. Because then we can have somebody else,
But
or secretary.
Well, I think that's more of an internal thing rather than something that's a focus of them, that it should be clear, the planning board has their own internal rules and they can, determine who, should be making contact with the consultants and who shouldn't, but I imagine.
So then they wouldn't accept a phone call from, if the planning board has that process and rule in place, then this consultant won't accept a call from
Well, I'm not
anybody else.
saying that the consultant necessarily won't, but I think it's something that is more something guided from within that, if somebody's contacting them, they shouldn't be.
right, in the past though, it's always been,
Like, I guess you can talk with them about refusing to,
they stopped me.
but, I don't know. If you guys want to add,
So we might want to talk to them.
There's also-
After they've already asked.
I was gonna say, indeed, it does say that that's a request of supervisor of planning board chair.
Where did you say that?
Indeed.
Indeed.
yeah, it's a specific request of supervisor of planning board chair. I know I saw it.
Yeah, there's also a combination at any time.
And then there's a
Okay, I got it.
Okay,
right
that's good.
there.
I'm happy with that.
Subsection B, that the consultant shall provide
Okay.
services in connection with the above at
Yeah, I
the
hadn't read that
specific
part.
request of the supervisor.
That's good.
That's good.
There you go.
Okay, so I will then sign the contract.
Did we already give you
Um,
Is there a
The resolution?
Is there a resolution?
There is not a resolution.
I'll take
Oh,
it.
no, here you go. We passed it last time.
Yes.
We just already passed, we just added that last, that section, that's all. So this is already passed. I haven't signed the last one either, but.
But this is a little discussion.
No, turn the page.
I don't want to. All right, James Dow, all right, James Dougherty, the should have done this first.
Yeah.
All right, James Dow,
I haven't seen a letter.
we're a little dyslexic. All
Reservation.
right, James Dougherty, who was the DBA secretary, has resigned and submitted resignation. So you should have said that first before we going to Stephanie Rice.
So that needs to go to the closed session.
So
Okay.
Nelson Pope and Voorhees contract, we discussed that. Michael Richardson and HR Divisions, their contract is just rollovers. Just a roll from, no changes from year before. Okay,
They're as needed and as requested, so that's.
right. And then Romer and Wallens.
Well, I did not get a resolution on
Is there
that,
no resolutions
Which one?
for these?
on Romer Wallens.
Oh.
It's not in the packet and,
Yeah.
wasn't sent to me. Samara thought it might get benched for tonight.
It will be, because there's nothing.
Well, all right, the whole thing, I'll make it, I have the contract here.
Well, has everyone reviewed the contract with Roma Wallens? They're the employment,
Lawyer.
law specialty firm.
Yeah, sent them out to
I don't see, is there any need to utilize their services in the next 2 weeks?
you. We might, yes, we are going to utilize their services soon.
And we already did approve them at the organizational meeting as an attorney for the town.
Right, what we
We
did,
are already on a contract with them.
but here's the thing is, though, that what the contract that we have right now with them is out. No longer a contingency fee. That's what we wanted.
Well, not contingency, a retainer.
We can't ask them.
Okay.
Yes, so we have them, we don't have them on retainer anymore, we have them now.
You want to go back to retainer?
No,
Oh, okay.
we don't go to hourly
Okay.
because, we've been paying them $1,200 a month, not
Right.
using that.
Okay.
So like, but we are gonna be using them, in the next topic, we're gonna talk about this. All right, so basically, the contract with Roman Allows is for hourly now, as opposed to pay.
Okay. You have a resolution on the next meeting?
We'll have it next year, I will have that the next meeting. Well, I have any questions, do I need a resolution if it's already put in the, organizational minutes?
The organizational meeting.
It was there.
No, but does it empower you to enter a contract with them?
I can pull them up, but what page?
Should be like in the very first page, Roman Allows.
No, that's the wrong one. Hang on.
There should be other one.
Well, you know what I'm saying, hold on a second, John,
No.
I think you want them eliminated.
Professional services.
We
Let's
there?
see. Yeah.
I think you decided to go with just Richardson.
I think the fact that
We got rid of the other one.
we got rid of
Two.
Roman Allows, didn't put him in it, so we have to have a resolution to put him in his hour.
Yeah, you just have Richardson in here.
Right, okay, so that's what it was, I think we took it out because you didn't actually, have a line for that.
Well, I mean, we have a line.
Right, I know, but I think we took we did budget for,
So this
Right.
is something that will be addressed at the next.
yes.
But they kept business.
And that's
next,
one of
that's why we
the
didn't-
great things about
Yes.
being at the
Yes.
agenda meeting,
Okay.
is having these things on for discussion and then passing resolutions at the regular monthly meeting.
Yeah. Mhm. So I'll have a resolution for that.
Home stretch, Mike.
Oh, no, that was an engineering discussion, all right, I had three discussions, this week on it. The first discussion is that, I spoke to Sarah Hannah Strafer and Michelle Hinchy. We have to get them to put a legislative bill in the state senate and the state assembly to alienate part of the park, for us to put the lodge there. We're waiting on it. They're the first, you have to get the ball rolling. Can't do anything until they do that kind of thing. My second meeting was with, John Halligan, Dave McCormick from back at Green County about the bond issue. All right, we are going to bond the garage. And we need John Minot, Roma Wallens, Minot, and Roma Wallens told him Minot. We need them because Minot is a bond lawyer. He writes up all the bond documents.
This is like chance of going to competitive.
Yep, it is. It is. In other words, anything over $5 million has to be off a bid. But we need John Minot to write up all the.
A lot of times the underwriters say that, but you need them to look it over.
Right, he's the one who writes the resolution, writes the bond, he writes the estoppel and everything. He's the one who does that kind of thing. We can't actually date it until we get the, alienation being done first.
Right.
I've also had a conversation with the USDA.
Right.
Right at this point, right now, bond interest rate is like a little more than 5%. USDA has not a grant, a loan that we can apply for, which is 4.125% for the highway garage. So, yeah, so I think I sent it to everybody. All right, so I'm looking at that one, 4.125% of the 25 years. The amount of the loan, you're not quite sure how much amount the loan is. The proposed garage so far is going to run in the range of 8.4 million. All right.
Is that still up for discussion though?
The design hasn't been done yet. Like, in other words, I had everything on hold until we get the alienation. If they can't do the alienation, we can't just build the garage there anyway. We gotta find out the site. So I spoke to, both to, Sir Hannah and Michelle and so forth, and they had just gotten the meets and bounds, which starts off the build process. Going through it. So they have it, they got it on January 27th. So that's gonna be going on this. All right, so, you know, and we have a further discussion on the next meeting, when, John talks to
Want to address secret for next meeting?
yes,
So I would just say that as board members, you guys have, there was a presentation pertaining to your seeker review, that you guys continue to review in depth, the full environmental assessment forms, parts 2 and 3. And any questions you have pertaining to any of those, have those prepared, be prepared to discuss it, because I believe, for the time schedule we're on, they are looking for a, seeker determination, either, you know, positive or negative deck, no environmental impact, or decide that there needs to be a more comprehensive environmental scope of review. So, so I would just say between now and then, you guys should be reviewing those materials that were submitted, so that that's it for that.
you guys got homework.
I already started.
Good.
Is that a 25-year loan?
The bond issue.
The bond for the, every year or something, or it's all one time?
You said one time, right?
Well, bonds go off and auction off, so they,
Well, they can definitely not.
They can auction off, but,
no, I mean, there, a lot of times they're structured to pay some of the loan off every year, and then you pay the entire
I
amount.
guess that's, we had to talk to was John Minell. That's what he's gonna have to deal with, that kind of thing.
But you expect the full term to be 25 years?
Yes, that's what we're looking at, 25 years. As it is right now, if we do it 8.4 million, it's gonna cost the average taxpayer about $90 a year.
Was the USD loan callable, non-callable?
We haven't even gone that far. We just, we wanna get started, because, getting the bond is gonna be a 3 or 4 months process.
Mhm.
No, but you can't do it until we get the alienation, that's the key thing. Once you get the alienation, then we start going down the road. I do wanna say one thing, not about this, we got information from, the 3 kiosks are on their way. It should be at the end of February. All right, so, we need to talk to you, Heather, and so forth, where the placement of this going through. We also have, again, as last time, to repair, we have, the 3 existing ones right there. I will talk to J.K. Roofing, because one of our kiosks there requires a whole new roof. And perhaps they may fill that in.
They're not gonna, gentleman's name, do we have?
Nugent could do it if it's not a metal roof.
It's not a metal roof.
Right, so Nugent would do that. He said if it was a metal roof, he couldn't do it. But he
Okay,
could do
it's
it
not,
right.
okay, okay.
He could do a shingle.
But here's the thing, you could ask J.K. Roofing to do
Right,
it here,
yeah.
if they get extra
Yes.
material, so we can get that done, yes. No metal roof.
No, not metal, but those original, I call them redwoods.
What's weatherwood?
Weatherwood.
Cedar shake?
Like,
Cedar
it's called
shakes, yeah,
weatherwood,
He
yeah.
had said that he wants original
Okay.
feedback.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's.
Okay. What else I have over here?
I think that was it.
Nothing else, nothing else.
Public hearing.
Nothing else.
Public comment.
Public comment two.
Wait, hang on 1 second. I'm done.
And, John, you want to announce about the superintendent?
Oh, yeah, so tomorrow we have, right here in the same location, we'll have, mushroom bisque and split pea with ham. Again, all local, so, all of our seniors, please come. We've had a little over 40 people at the last couple showings, so it's really been a great time to hear everybody laughing and telling stories, so please come. Some of y'all that are in the audience, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Public comment?
I make a motion to open public comment number 2. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody want to speak? Oh, by the way, I one last thing. I knew I had one more. The CAC grant that we got for $30,000 for electric lawnmower equipment. Tomorrow, Mike Schultz is going down with the check to go to Newburgh and pick up the the lawnmower.
Zero turn.
Zero turn lawnmower,
Yeah.
right? We got that, and we got it at sale price.
Nice.
We thought it was gonna cost 25,000, just that alone, it's down to 17,000.
Great.
So we have that, and we're now gonna go to Herzog's, the local, and get the other. Thank you so much. And by the way, one last thing also, part of the grant, or part of the grant that we got for the old library and so forth, our portion is 125,000. We have a grant from CAC for mini splits. Through NYSERDA, the mini splits there. So in other words, that's part of our portion of the thing. So like, things are looking up.
Some things are good. Crystal, okay.
Krista?
Okay. Kristen Shara from 143 Hilltop Drive. I'm actually here because of the email that I sent you, Mike, about the seeker for the highway garage, just to, we did send in some comments based on the part 3 that was presented. But, a lot of it was possibly, it wasn't complete to our, when we reviewed it, there were some things that we thought should be in there. And it could possibly be that we didn't have parts 1 and 2, or, I don't know. We were sort of got in at the end of the process for the.
Okay, well, so what do you have of the seeker? What do you
I
have?
gave
Your part
you
one, your part
entire
3.
You have the part 3
Mhm.
narrative that was
You want
presented,
part 1, part 2?
right?
All right, so let me send that to you. Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's not posted yet, but I have it.
Okay, so we'll make sure you get
Did
that.
you send an email, you said?
yeah, I sent an email to Mike from
Not bad.
CAC and.
And I responded back, we welcome your suggestions and so forth. Yes.
Okay.
No. I just thank you for offering, and I welcome your comments. So
Do you want to
we'll
speak
say
about
you-
those
I'd like to
comments?
see,
You want to present those suggestions tonight?
Yeah,
What's
they're
your-
very long.
But then
This is
I
public comment.
had no comments, she said she had comments about it.
No, we will,
but she didn't,
You didn't-
oh, she didn't include them?
Didn't include comments.
but approve, and not.
You have-
I wonder if there's some of the same as mine.
Lynn, do you have,
They were, Mike, they were attached
Send it
to
to
the
Kristen
email,
Sharon?
Like they were attached to the email.
I'll make sure you have a full copy,
but I
Kristen.
can, okay. Anyway. But mainly just, there were some things that they mentioned, a wetland delineation
Yes.
that had been done, but they didn't, when you do something like that, you should include the documentation, the map, basically, so we can review it.
Well, we have to keep the map came with it.
I didn't see a map.
I didn't say that.
I didn't see any maps.
At least not in the part 3 narrative. There was, there was no reference as to which map they used and, what was the basis for that.
Personal observation.
That was one. They talked about the Indiana bat being potentially, foraging area for the bat. But if you look at the New York State DEC mapper, bald eagle also comes up for that area. And it could be that it's the information may be outdated. I'm not sure that the bald eagle is still endangered or on any list anymore.
Oh.
But the fact that it popped up, they should at least say, you know, it's on the mapper, but, you know, it's no longer endangered.
This is my copy. I have, Krista?
Yeah.
I have, part one for you if you want.
Okay. And, it said, a habitat assessment conducted for the town, but they didn't provide that assessment. I don't know what the source of that was. They mentioned a town wildlife scientist. Do we have a wildlife scientist? So, you know, it just seemed like it was maybe kind of, it seemed like it was maybe cut and pasted from somebody else's seeker, maybe, you know, that's.
A lot of times, yeah, that's what
Yes,
they do.
you're 100% correct.
They will do
So,
He actually made that statement.
that. He actually
okay.
did. He said the fact that, right, in fact, on one of the things, he had a different town there, I believe, and we mentioned that to him, and he said he would correct that and come back on that kind of thing. So what we'll do is, you know,
I have already.
yeah. So we will, so Krista, Lynn will send you.
I'll send you what we
part one.
have, but maybe we should get a corrected EAF from them, so we're without other towns' information on there.
Did you put any of your suggestions in writing, email?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, something like
It should be
that.
attached to that email.
I have it.
I sent you.
What I'll do is I'll send, our business comments to all of them.
Okay, yes,
All right.
please.
And Krista will send you, Lynn will send you, part one. Lynn, can you do that? Or you want me
So
to
you
do
just
that?
I can send you what we have.
Okay, send them.
I have part one, I have the narrative, and I have parts 2 and 3.
Okay, I will call up John Ross and have him go through, he should go through it also. And make sure that, whatever town listed, that's not early. Correct it, yeah.
I would send
Correct.
it.
Yeah, you should also get this corrected. Send them by email, CC and
Okay. I will do that as well.
Okay. And just one last thing, which, just to, for our information, you know, that area, you know, I know we don't have a whole lot of options and, you know, what kind of stuff. Putting it there, but that area is one of the last remaining areas where there is forest habitat, where there's no, you know, roads running through it or houses built or, you know, interruptions. And there are certain species that can only live in areas like that are buffered from human activity. So this is going to impinge on that, yes, and it's gonna make it smaller. You know, there's only a couple places like that left in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what we'll do basically is like, he'll be here next week. I'll send John Russ, your email. Through there. Then we'll send you part one, part two, part three, and I'll send your comments to everybody to do on the board also.
Okay. Well, I guess just with regard to that last point, if we could just see, you know, just try to minimize our impact.
Yeah.
As much as we can.
Okay.
Don't do the whole area.
What I will do, Chris, like if you may, if you want, I can, put you in touch with John Russ. So you can,
Well, I don't, there's probably.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
all right, I will contact him.
When he's here at the meeting next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But
I will-
all of their suggestions should be submitted ahead of time so that they can get addressed
Okay.
and fleshed out prior to.
Yeah, and if anybody else has some, please send them.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Kristen. Anybody else wish to speak? I make a motion to close public comment period number 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who's against it?
You said-
Thank you.
Everybody.